Hi, I'm Veronica Campbell of Integrated Manual Physical Therapy, and I just wanted to put a few thoughts around treatment of the vagus nerve. We've had a lot of focus on the vagus nerve, which is sort of the brakes of the system. If we look at our autonomic nervous system, our parasympathetic. And so there hasn't been a lot of focus on the sympathetic nervous system, which is the gas pedal. And so if we're always trying to just work on the brakes, we might be missing part of the balance of the autonomic nervous system. So I wanted to talk about some tools to help treat the fight or flight system or the sympathetic nervous system. There's great tools to treat the vagus nerve, right? There's lots of nerve stimulators now. There's lots of different exercises. I have a whole bunch of videos online, from releasing the fascia around the vagus nerve in the neck, to ear pulls, to balancing your plexuses, to working with the sphincters of the GI of the parasympathetic nervous system. But what about the sympathetic nervous system? That's sort of been missed lately, and I've been thinking about that. And so one of the big things is the sympathetic nervous system runs down your thoracic spine. So anybody knows that if you're mobilizing your thoracic spine, you can have effects on the GI system because of the sympathetic chain. But our nervous system can be addressed mechanically as well. And I wanted to give you a tool for a home program for that, which I have on another video called the Genies. So if we think about mechanics affecting our sympathetic system, if we're always in a slouch, then our head is in a forward posture that's compressing our jugular foramen where the vagus nerve comes out. So the vagus nerve is getting compressed from a postural piece. So if we can open up our thoracic spine with that exercise, we can help address some of the mechanical posture pieces that might be affecting the dysregulation in our autonomic nervous system. Now, there's a whole nother set of tools that can be done to help downregulate the autonomic nervous system. And that is going to be focusing on, if we think of our environment as triggers, right? That are creating triggers in our input in our nervous system, of like little firecrackers going off, and our nervous system being like, what's that? What's that? Is that friend or foe? Am I safe or not? Our nervous system likes predictability, it likes safety. And so our brain and our subconsciousness is constantly interpreting our environment for safety. And so we're determining with our eyes, we're scanning the horizon. With our ears, we're listening for danger. Even our smell is interpreting that. And then we have sort of that, sixth sense of, like, if you're in the grocery store line and you feel somebody behind you and you're like, oh, they feel kind of creepy. Like, what is that extra sense? Why does our nervous system pick up on that? And sure enough, you turn around and you're like, oh yeah, I get a weird vibe, right? So our nervous system's determining that constantly to determine safety for us. So how do we change that input in our nervous system to create more safety, especially if we have a lot of history? What do I mean by that? Well, let's say you got hit in the face when you were a kid by a baseball or football. So now a bird flies by and you flinch more because your nervous system's like, oh, danger came from that direction at some point in my life. Or you've had a lot of dental work. So anybody standing in this area for you now feels like a threat to your nervous system because you've had so much dental work. Or when your parents scolded you, they were always standing right in front of you and scolding you. And so these different kinds of trauma can create imprints in our nervous system, of our nervous system then determining in our environment, am I safe or not? And so if it was that parent scolding you, now anybody that comes in to talk to you in that zone, if they stand right where your parent was, maybe that's triggering you to be more defensive, to be more in fight or flight, and adding to your traumatic response in your nervous system and creating more tension. And so if you could have a tool to help you downregulate this input from your environment so that you're not having these firecrackers go off all the time, maybe you can calm your system a little bit more so that your vagus nerve exercises actually work more efficiently, more effectively, and last longer. And so I'm going to do a whole exercise to help you sort of scan your environment for areas that might feel like your nervous system is being in a heightened state of hypervigilance and being triggered, and give you a tool to start to downregulate that maybe you can start to have a different interaction with your environment and help your brain not be on such high alert.